the ability to keep the game close in the first half and have a lead, and then to, pad on that was amazing for this team. And as you mentioned, Gita, they had a lot of contributions from other people that I'm sure we're going to talk about. But Austin Reaves delivers, ice in his veins. He's never wavers. They didn't have a lot of versatility in the offense tonight. And he made that pick and roll work a lot tonight. A big mistake by Gobert on that double team when he made that split. But it took Austin Reaves' talent to see that. But, his clutch performance once again, night in and night out, great leadership on his part as well. Dropping dimes as well.
Yeah, 16 assists.
Scoring. He might be player of the month.
We all yelled when Gobert made that mistake because you saw him come up too high and too wide. And he left that lane, Rob, for Austin Reaves to split. And once he's in that key, he's money.
Well, that's the defensive player of the year for like a couple of years in a row. At his best right there.
Not for perimeter defense, though.
Not at all. And the thing about Austin Reaves, that's his go-to move. And what's really incredible, if you really look at this shot, he's right-handed, right? He shot that off his right leg. So his floater is just that potent that he can shoot it off either leg, and that takes some talent, man.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier how he doesn't play above the rim. That kind of affects a lot of people because most people in the NBA are athletic. So when you athletic and you go up against somebody who's not as athletic, you kind of overrun plays, and right there you show you what he can do.
Listen, 28 points, the 16 assists, James, a double-double for Austin Reaves. And listen, every night in the NBA, especially when you have to be the 1A without LeBron and Luka Doncic, you're going to get defended well, especially a team like Minnesota, who's great on the perimeter with a guy like McDaniels, the way they can blitz, the way they can double. And he did not have a great shooting night, 9 of 24. But he got to the line 7 times, which is less than he has been, hit all 7, got the 16 assists. And what makes Austin so great is that he does not quit in these kind of situations, James. He always believes in his talent. And he was huge. But that 28-16, he is off to an amazing start, especially with all these guys hurt. So you got to throw in Marcus and Gabe, too. We're talking 4 big-time rotational guys for the Lakers, including 2 superstars.
And Austin Reaves has replaced them each night. Seems like he's stepped up. For him to handle the ball that much, they only have 3 turnovers as well, too. For the pressure he received, the trapping and all that stuff, he just kept his poise. Whenever he did get off track a little bit and maybe slip up and turn it over, he always got back to himself and that under control. Gita, he's a great ball handler, okay? Rob just mentioned he doesn't play above the rim, so you got to be really careful not to foul him because he's really technical with the ball. He looks for bodies to get close to him. I think that's what he really lives off of, and then he gets his shots. You can foul him easily. He'll make you foul him. So he's just really crafty with the basketball in his hand. And he doesn't try to avoid bodies. He looks for angles, and if you get too close to him, he's going to have an and one. That's what makes him very dangerous. He's unpredictable.
In another 40 minutes tonight, so a lot on the shoulders of Austin Reaves. But there did come with some frustrations on that Laker team the last 4 or 5 minutes, Rob. The offense, what did you see there? Just kind of seemed to stall, ball stopped moving.
Yeah,
was that more the defense from Minnesota, or was it just the Lakers?
I think it's when you depend on great individual players like a Luka, like LeBron, coaches have a tendency to say, do you? And you go down the stretch, I think they ran that same pick and roll like 8 times. And let's be honest, we know Minnesota is a good defensive team. And so if you keep picking at it, they're going to figure it out. And there's a couple of times where, you could have ran a different set, moved the ball, come back, and then you get a live ball, and then go into that set. We used to call it 4-pass with Phil, and then you get the defense to move, and you see what they're going to do, you get some mismatches you want, then you go at them. So I think that's something they're going to learn from. It's still early in the season.
Yeah.
And so this is something that the coaching staff can look at and say, okay, we get down the stretch, we got to have some other plays because, defense is keying in on either Austin Reaves, LeBron, or Luka. Next thing you know, we got Rui Hachimura going back there because that is in their playbook because we've seen it last year.
Yeah, and I'd really like to see the pick and roll has been great with Ayton. They got him involved, and Jake LaRavia, guys, was absolutely awesome. We're going to get to him, I promise, a little later in the show. It's time to hear from Coach J.J. Redick.
That's exactly how you like it. We're going to get right to it. First things first, we're going to take a look at the Lakers injury report for tonight's matchup in Minnesota. Lakers had 7 players out of action on Monday versus the Blazers. Good news, they do get one back in Jackson Hayes, who has missed the last 3, dealing with that knee soreness. He's available, but still no Luka Doncic, no LBJ, no Marcus Smart, or Gabe Vincent. So you're still a bit short-handed, big game, but it's still an opportunity. Without your stars, without Marcus Smart, Gabe Vincent.
I mean,
to build.
Anytime you have to step on the floor, it's an opportunity, regardless of who's out there. Next man up. But it seems like, Allie, every year we go through this situation where, we have some bright moments and we're all getting excited. Then boom, injury here, injury there. That's the nature of the game. But the one guy that they have that's on fire is Austin Reaves. And as long as he's on the floor, he's good. Did you just say who's out? Oh, Anthony Edwards is out. Okay, yeah. But no, we're talking about Austin Reaves right now. Austin Reaves, man, he's the guy that's carried this team, and he ignites the other players around him. Ayton, Robert, he's been playing very well. They're getting some good contribution from, all areas. So they just have to continue to. I mean, the back-to-back game was a tough game. Coming back from Sacramento, even though it wasn't a long flight, they still had to play back-to-back, had a chance to recover. Let's see how it turns out tonight.
That was great multitasking by Big Game.
I know,
no
right?
one knows that we've got people in our ear.
Well, I thought I heard her say Austin Reaves out, and I was saying Austin Reaves is playing. But it was Edwards. Okay, thank you.
You are correct, though. Anthony Edwards is out. We'll miss the next 2 weeks with a hamstring strain.
Yeah, for me, all I can think about is getting bounced out the playoffs last year. And what we needed was some size and some strength, and I think DeAndre Ayton is one of those pieces that we finally got as far as size and strength. So I'm really interested to see how this matchup goes. This is the night, first game you had played against, you had Luka, but you don't have Luka, so that means you have to step up. So I'm hoping that DeAndre and Austin has a really good connection right there in that pick and roll, a little drop to the little pocket, a little 15-foot jumper by DA. So I like this matchup. I like what we can do. Plus, as B. Moore alluded to, that, Ant-Man will be out for a couple of weeks with that hamstring injury.
And to your point, the last time they faced Minnesota, yes, they did have Luka Doncic, and yes, he did put up 49. But you got a guy over your left who can do some pretty cool things as well. Lakers and T-Wolves tip things off at 6:30 right here on Spectrum Sportsnet. For more, let's check in with Mike Trudell, joining us from Minnesota. Hi, Mike.
Allie, was that an attempt at a Minnesota accent there? It was okay. It was okay.
Minnesota.
I did see my little sister today, and so yeah, it sounds kind of like that's more like it. That's more like it. So look, I mean, you would have loved to have started by talking about the 40-point performances, right? Luka Doncic and then Austin Reaves, and just how great those individual moments are. Reaves is still here, but with JJ, we had to just focus on who's going to play in this game, considering all of the injuries and especially all the injuries to the primary creators, with the exception of Austin Reaves, and therefore how much he has on his plate and what the Lakers can do about that. So we started with Jackson Hayes. That's the good news. He's going to be available, but then Marcus Smart will not. And obviously Marcus was able to help Austin with those duties in Sacramento in that first road win of the year. So here's JJ starting with Jackson, then we get to Marcus and some other stuff.
We got to do a better job taking care of the basketball. Portland, that was I thought a really unique situation with how they pressed, and we got to get defensive rebounds. Like our first shot half court defense has been really good, and just got killed the other night. You start adding the 30 points off turnovers and the second chance points, you really get in the hole. You better be making a lot of threes, which we didn't. So it starts for us just taking care of the ball and doing a good job on the defensive glass. We need all five guys tonight, obviously, with Gobert and a number of guys that crash at a really high rate. We've got to do a good job on that tonight.
You said, I think the other day that that maybe you felt like you've put some guys in some tough spots, probably because of the injuries and different things like that. I'm just kind of curious, what are the conversations that you're having with players that are being asked to do things outside their comfort zone, perhaps, and I guess have you seen anybody adapt particularly well outside of Austin, and obviously the scoring stuff, but have you seen anybody else really adapt through sort of the necessity of your numbers right now?
Well, it's only been one game, so no, I did not see anybody adapt against Portland. We sucked. Thought we played hard though, which is good. And as far as putting people in bad spots, there's no other spots to put them in. So it's by necessity, and it sometimes can not be the most aesthetically pleasing thing. But I do think there's a value long term in sort of the adversity that we've had early on, and I think guys will get better from it. And you're certainly evaluating what you can do to help them when they're in those spots.
All right, so I lied there, Allie. It was not starting with Jackson. He is playing. That's the good news. The tendinopathy is something we'll have to keep track of as the season goes on to make sure that the knee is all right. And then just thinking about Marcus Smart, hopeful is the word that JJ used before this game. Well, we're going to have to move on to the next one, hoping that he returns for that one. So no Marcus Smart. You do get Jackson Hayes back, and that basically makes it 8 healthy rotation players, and a lot asked of all of those guys.
You know who will never have to question about whether or not they'll be there? That guy right there, Mike Trudell.
Always.
We appreciate you, my friend.
Always.
We'll talk to you coming up later in the show.
Always on point.
Unlike you. The Lakers will be shorthanded once again tonight, but Austin Reaves, he has been impressive, playing the leading role over the last 2 games for the purple and gold. He follows up a 50 ball in Sacramento with a 40 ball. It's like 40's the new 30. Right? Yeah,
Yes.
That's exactly how you say it. He is on a tear, to say the least. Big game. I mean, at the end of the day, we talked about it having to be done as a collective, but there is a lot of responsibility that's falling on his shoulders right now.
Yeah, every team or squad that's on the floor needs a leader. And, Austin Reaves has earned this, with his hard work over the years and, his determination. I know when he made the USA team that's under Steve Kerr, and how impressed Steve Kerr was with his knowledge and his intelligence of the game, and it's showing off. He's not afraid.